Alright, well, there's a zillion videos on the internet how to put in U-joints. I'm just going to show you some tricks I've learned through the years. One of the problems with people finish, when they take them out, sometimes they press these ears wrong. And so you always want to take a mic and measure what you are at the bottom, what you are at the top. This one's a little spread, not too bad. But if they're bent in a lot, you'll never get the ears in, or you'll get the snap rings in. So the way to fix that, you'll look at it in the distance, maybe something vertical out on the far side of your shop like a post. And if they're bowed in, pretty soon you'll see one side's bowed in just a little bit. So if you put that on a bench like that, and just whop that son of a bitch. That would be to knock it in. To knock it out, put it like this and just bam, right there as hard as you can. And check it and get them parallel from the bottom to the top. Alright. So, easiest thing on front axles is always start with the short pieces first, and then you can maneuver the other ones in. I'm kind of lazy about this job. Now I just noticed something here. You see a little plastic washer right there? Stayed on the end. Sometimes you get the little plastic washer, one will stay in the cup. And this time both of them stayed on the end, miraculously. But you don't want to have it where you switch caps and one stays in and you double up on one side. Alright, so I like to move the axle, not the U-joint. So the axle itself can actually make a fine little hammer to make sure that thing gets good and started. And then you want to overdrive it. I have to drive it farther than it needs to go. Now you work it out a little bit like that without getting this side out too far. Now you know you're not going to lose one of those bearings when you put it on. That's the whole trick to this. See, there I actually moved the axle, not the U-joint. Next thing is getting them guys in there. Now I'm not really trying to press it all the way with the vise. I'm just trying to hold the U-joint with the vise. So my snap ring groove is about half and half. So if I move it that way, a couple good whacks, now I've got that wide enough. When you go to put your snap ring in, if you can't put it in with your fingers, don't force it. Either your U-joint ears are spread, or you've got a needle bearing stuck in there or something. So I take the little guy, and I've already gone around and I've filed all the burrs off. You can see this had some busted up stuff and had some ridges that I took off. Took the high spots off with a file. Alright, so it's still kind of sticky bindy there, which means I don't have it over far enough. I'll whack it again. You come around this side, or whatever. Oh, you see what's happening? I'm hitting metal on metal here. I'm gonna have to stick a washer in there. Let's see if I can adjust that and miss that with the jaws. If I go right upside down. Now I can move that thing to each side. Where I gotta go. It doesn't matter which way I go. I just take it up as I take it up. It's actually moving the axle back and forth. Let's get this cap in. A couple light taps. Now I'm up here metal on metal again. I can't go any farther. I'm going to grab a couple washers for a nut. if you don't have a vise, you can do this on a bench or a bumper or something like that. You just stick that little guy right there, and when you come down on it, that's going to put that in there. You can see now it's way past. And now I can, that doesn't stick, and I can pop it in like magic. Now I turn it over, and we got to chase the other side over. Are there yet? Getting there. I think about one more. Again, we'll make sure it goes in. See, it's not just jumping right in there. Let's put a little extra pushy on it. Put our nut in here on a vise. We can keep doing it on the bench if we had to. The vise makes short work of the whole job. Put a little pressure. Oops, let me rotate this. You know what? To do this, I gotta have 2 nuts. Not easy, but possible. So it all just kind of depends on how your casting is. You see right here, the casting is a little taller than the U-joint cap on each side. So now you just got to be creative with how you run a vise. A finger in there, finger in there, bring it up just a little bit more. Now here's the trick. You get it really close, and of course you keep losing it. Because I need 3 hands, I only have 2. I got that in there. Now I'm going to twist it this way. That holds both nuts at once with 1 hand. Look at that. I brought it in straight. Now I can work it where I need to. So let's see. I'm going to drive it. Move the axle this way. The U-joint stays in the middle. A little tighter on the vise. I should be able to get my snap ring in now. Oh yeah, it slips right in. You got 1 thumb, snaps in on its own. Don't go in with your fingers. Something's wrong. Find out what. All right. Now that's in there kind of tight. See, I can't move it. That's because I've jammed it together. So to unjam it, I'm going to grab it this way. And you can do this later with the axle on it, the other axle on it too. But you always want to set your snap rings up solid against the back. All right, 2 whacks that way, 2 whacks that way. Oh, look at that. Now flops around almost under its own weight. Just that easy. Now you know nothing's on a bind. You don't have any needle bearings jammed anywhere. All right, so let's get the next one. Sure enough, those ends stay down there again. Now these are lube for life, so you don't want to mix the caps up. You might theoretically get a little more oil in one versus the other. That's what the book says anyway. All right. Now this one, now I got that in there. Lift that all the way up, and I know with that pass that the needle bearings are on it. The trick here is just kind of hold it up in the air. screwdriver a little farther. Still got a little ways I can drive that. Let's see if it'll stick out far enough where it's at. Yeah. Now I'm going to go a little bit farther because I hate dropping needle bearings. The other thing, sometimes I just stick a bolt in here and that gives me a little high spot. I can set it on top, something like this. The bolt doesn't go anywhere. Always have a couple holes drilled in your benches. So now I got that thing up in the air, but not so far that I lost the needle bearing. So we want 100% the first time. And yeah, about twice a year I drop a needle bearing or jam one. It happens. So since this one's overdriven so far already, now it's really easy to pop that snap ring on. Now you do have to be careful. There are some axles that'll have a shoulder here, and depending on how that rotates, let's see if I can get it with my finger to get a little pry bar in there. I'll be right back. This one doesn't matter, but some of them have a shoulder right here, and you want to make sure that that snap ring is away from the shoulder on both sides, so when you move the cap over, it doesn't catch and bend the heck out of the whole thing. Now I got enough weight here now, I can just drive that thing over. Well, I don't have to bother with it in the vise. Well, maybe I'll have to put it in the vise. Some are tighter and looser than others. I'll probably have to do my double nut trick again. Did we lose the other nut probably? Arrgh. Well, see, this is real world, everybody. I'm going to try and just get it this way. Use the weight of one versus the other. Because you don't always have a vise. That one's in there good and tight. Get a bigger hammer. Still a ways to go. We're getting there. That's the best thing. I don't try to beat them both at once. It just takes too much effort. Couple more whacks here. Now I got that one over. It's up tight now, and I need to get myself a little more room on this side. So I'm just going to tip this up so this isn't sitting on the bench. This could be your bumper, because you know we don't always have nice vices out in the woods. A few taps. Now we get to that snap ring groove. And does it just, oh look at that, it goes in and wiggles, so we got lots of room. Oh, lost a little glove there. We're good. Also look all the way around them. Make sure that it's the same thickness. Sometimes they'll hang, you get a piece of rust or dirt, especially on the internal ones that you have on the outside of a driveline U-joint. You get half a snap ring comes around here and here, and then there's dirt like inside that groove. You put your snap ring in the other way around, it doesn't go in all the way. So just take a good look at it from every angle, make sure everything looks the same. And we'll set that one up tight. And I tell people, if you can't roll it and it flop on its own weight, you done something wrong. All right, let's see how I do on the next one. Where'd the end go? Right in front of me. It's camouflage and it's rusty. Oh, look at that. This time the little plastic guy stayed in there. Some of them don't have that plastic guy, so you never know what you're going to get. This is always the fun thing, because no matter what you do, there's always a little dirt somewhere. So you want to try and slip this guy in. Get it right so you're just not touching anything. And I like to look at them, make sure I didn't get a piece of rust or grit in there. Now's the time to clean it, not later. Because there ain't no later. Now here you just got to get a good grip, because you don't want to drop it, because that'll suck the needle bearings out of that damn cap on you. Overdrove that one clear to the other end. Wiggle it out just a wee bit. And bam. You know your needle bearings have not gone anywhere. Alright, well, the first one's easy because it's just going to snap in place. Then we got to move the whole assembly kind of over. This one's going about right. The other one was a little sticky. Okay, fits nice and good. Bam. Okay, black cap in cap, black cap in, or thrust washer in cap. Again, I always say put it in the short end first, because it's easier to snake this around than trying to have one in here and snake this whole big piece. You know, you're trying to get, it just works easier with the short piece. Not that you don't forget once in a while and have to do it that way anyway. Got a little bit of crab right in the corner there. Just get that off of there. All right. Wiggle it out. Always good when it goes easy, then you know it's lined up. Now I'm noticing that this one's manufactured for ease of putting the U-joint in. So I'm going to tuck this snap ring all the way around so I've got a full shoulder for it. Push it to the back and I'll move it up like this. And I can do that because I got clearance on the shoulder. Like I say, some do not have that clearance. All right. I'll move that over. Looks like it's up against there good. Move this one on. Kind of bouncing around. Well, that is interesting. It looks like it's tight on one side. You got an air gap on the other. Or maybe that's just a lot of grease. Let me whack it a couple more times here. Oh yeah, now we're up tight. And I can get this one all the way over. I think we're there. Oh yeah, drops right in all by itself. Now notice it's loosened the way I did it before. It's still bindy there, so I got to set these tight. Now any luck? Yeah, there we go. Ready to install. And y'all have a good evening.